Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. I got some work to do outside this morning, so I'm going to throw something in the oven for my lunch, and I'm going to do a old school recipe here for you guys, one that my dad really liked. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of the main ingredient of this, and what that is dried peas. Now, dried peas were a huge cash crop around here in Michigan back about 1900, and peas are extremely nutritious, and dried peas keep a really long time, just like dried beans do. And for the life of me, I don't understand why more preppers don't talk about dried peas. Dried peas were one of the items that were rationed during World War II. Peas in general, even canned peas, were rationed during World War II because they're so nutritionally dense. And actually, the last few years here, I've been trying to actually propagate heirloom peas from what my neighbor had given me as seed, and I'm just slowly building up my stockpile of seed for that. But dried peas were a huge resource. The old timers always had a tub of dried peas with 5 or 6 pounds in their pantry, along with their flour and their rice and their dry beans and that kind of stuff. And I'm going to do it old school for you guys here today. I'm going to do it in the bean pot. Now, a bean pot is basically an old school crock pot. A bean pot would be filled up with something dry that would take a long time to cook, kind of what an old school crock pot would be, and it would be added in the oven when they were baking bread or they were baking some other thing to use that residual heat that was in there. And baked beans and dried peas were two of the things that they would do that with. So anyway, I'm going to turn the camera around here. I'm going to show you the ingredients that I got here, and we'll talk a little bit about this particular recipe. Here are the ingredients for this recipe that I'm going to put together for you guys here today. And like with a lot of the stuff that I put up in my pantry, I try to go local. And these particular green split peas here are produced here in Michigan. And I always try to put stuff up that is produced as local to me as possible. And these guys here are no exceptions. This recipe is a bit of a homage to my father. My dad loved dried split peas, whether it was in soup or in other dishes. It was just one of his favorite things. So just sort of homage to my dad on this particular video here, and a little bit to our local area, because we actually had a pea processing place around here called a pea vinery, and they would use that to process the peas that were produced around here, and then shipped out and back. Goes all the way back to the turn of the century. But a lot of history behind this particular ingredient right here. But anyway, what I've got here is I got about 4 or 5 ounces of diced up leftover ham. I got a small onion from our garden that I got diced up, and I got a medium-sized potato peeled and diced up. And then I got 2 sprigs of thyme, about a teaspoon of black pepper. I got a cup of dried peas, and then I got a couple of cups of chicken broth that I basically made from bouillon. Nothing canned here. This was made from dried bouillon. And a word on dried peas. Dried peas are a little bit like rice. It's about a 2-to-1 ratio, because I want this to be a little bit thicker. So a cup of dried peas will typically use about 2 cups of water. And I will check this a couple of times to make sure that the water doesn't all cook out of this. And then this is the bean pot here. And a bean pot is basically just a crock that can take the heat of the oven, and you mix all the ingredients in and you put the lid on, and like I said, it basically acts like a crock pot. I got my oven set at 250 degrees. Low on a crock pot is about 200, between 200 and 250 depending on the crock pot. So it's basically going to be like a low crock pot recipe. Anyway, I'm going to get my ingredients in my bean pot here, and we're going to get this cooking for you guys. All right, guys, got my bean pot here, and we're going to add our cup of green split peas. I'm going to put in our 2 sprigs of thyme, and we're going to put in our teaspoon of black pepper. Then we are going to add in our ham. And our potatoes and our onions. And then we're we're going to add in our 2 cups of chicken broth that's made from the bouillon. We're going to give this a good stir. Make sure all the ingredients are mixed up good. I'm going to put the lid on this. Now this is going to go in our 250-degree oven, and I'm just going to check this periodically until everything is done. If this needs some more liquid, we're going to just add some regular water into it because we don't want anything to stick as those peas absorb the liquid. Anyway, we're going to get this in here for you guys and show you what it looks like. Well, the bean pot is in the oven, and we're going to just check this periodically, stir it through to make sure that nothing's sticking on the bottom, and if it needs a little more liquid, we're going to add a little more liquid into it. I got it set on an old sheet pan here just in case it would happen to boil over, doesn't get inside the oven. Anyway, we're just going to let this guy go here, and when it's done, I'll show you what it looks like. All right, guys, it's been about 3 hours, and I just took this guy out, and I'm going to show you here what it looks like. See the steam coming out of there. And I'm going to take a ladleful out of this. That's what it looks like. I'll let this cool here for a second and give a little taste test. The flavor on that is phenomenal. If you like peas, there's no way you're not going to like this. Excellent. Have that with some homemade bread or some cornbread, or even if you got crackers around. That's going to be a heck of a meal. But anyway, peas, split peas, green peas, yellow peas. Preppers don't talk about them a lot, but I'm here to tell you they're a great thing to put up and have in your stores. And this video here is sort of homage to my dad. Loved his split pea stew, split pea soup, and thought I'd share this with you guys in the old school way of cooking them in a bean pot. But anyway, this is Modern Refugee. Appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys got a little information, a little entertainment out of this video as always. You guys have a good one.